I'm back again. Today I'm going to talk about a video I just saw by Dr. John Campbell. If you will, please subscribe, like, and make any comment you want to. Try to be polite and well-mannered. John Campbell, Dr. John Campbell is a British doctor. I came across him several years ago. And the first things I was seeing him doing, he was going into using studies in the various medical journals and etc. That he being a physician, he's probably my age, around my age. He's been around a long time, and he's depended upon, as everyone else has, the integrity of the sources that we always assume were giving us good information. And so at that time, he was coming out with he would review, and you can watch him. Go to his site. I've listed this recent one here that I'm referring to today. It's listed below. Go take a look at that. It gives you information. He gives some commentary about it, but he goes through the article and sort of points out the statistics and things, and gives his thoughts about it to a degree. But when I first ran across him, he was basically looking at these studies related to the medical emergency, worldwide medical emergency that everybody jumped through hoops with several years ago. And I stopped watching him because, to me, he was not being critical enough. And he was just taking whatever some study was saying and just regurgitating it, which means, hey, I can go read the journal myself and get the information myself. But if the information isn't good information, it doesn't matter whether I'm reading it or whether he's reading it for me. If it's something that is skewed, it's not really good information. And that's what I thought as he went over these studies. I'd say, wait a second. That doesn't make sense to me. They're not asking the right questions, or they're not looking at the right stuff. Today, he is I think, had his eyes opened. And now he has begun to say, they are giving us this information, but they're not really asking all the questions they need to ask, etc. Now, I'll let you go through and look at his video below. It's a good video, but I'm just going to hit on a few high points. This video that he comments on, the one below, was on a study from the Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA. The particular journal gets cited all the time. Now, the fact that it gets cited all the time may tell you that there's something going on, because it's the one that gets cited all the time. Hint, hint, hint. If they're trying to influence you, they're going to get their study into the JAMA, that medical journal, and they're going to influence us through that. And one thing that's interesting is I've repeatedly seen other brilliant people who cannot get an article into something like JAMA. It doesn't matter whether it's a great science or not. They don't want to see it. They don't share it with us. Okay, they don't share it with all the. See, this is the big journal for the medical profession, right? So they don't want their physicians to be thinking any outside their box. So they've got a box they want you to be in, and that's the way the game's played. So, but John Campbell, his eyes have been opened for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what his background is on that, but I know that he's talking a little bit different than he was. He talks very responsibly, but he talks a little bit different than he was 2 or 3 years ago. Now, this study ignores that any causes may be due to medical treatment. He makes that point. All right. It gives us talks about natural causes, alcoholism, transportation accidents, stroke, heart attack, etc. Murders. Okay. digestive tract problems. So there's all these reasons that people have died over the last few years. But if you look at the chart, he points out how the chart is, and what they've done is they've looked at how, like I think it's from about 2011 or so up until 2019, the line, people were dying at a particular rate. And this was for young people, if I remember correctly. So they're dying at a particular rate, and it's sort of going up like this, okay? And then it gets to 2019, and all of a sudden it goes, whoop. Well, now we understand what happened in that period of time. His concern is that once it goes up and then it starts to come down, it doesn't go back down and go back to where it was. It does. You understand? It doesn't go back to the same trajectory as it was on. What it does is here's the trajectory it was on, and it goes up and then it comes down, and now it's here. A lot more people are dying than they were here. Okay? Here's a number. So in 2019, 41.7 people per 100,000 were dying. That's basically 5 people per 10,000, just about that. All right. So in 2019, 5 people per every 10,000 people were dying. Young people, young adults. After 2019, it went up and then it came back down, and now it's on this new trajectory. 116.2 people per 100,000, which is this was in 2021 when the study was done. That is 11.62 people, basically 12 people per 10,000. It has tripled the amount of people who are dying. I understand the reason for this. If you don't understand the reason for this, you need to go start listening to people who are telling you the truth. That's all I can say. I'm not going to try to browbeat anybody into believing what is quite obvious to me. Many people don't want to look at the truth. They don't want to deal with reality. And I've mentioned about this reality before. If you've had a particular, now he mentions, hey, they don't talk anything about a medical treatment. He mentions that's lacking. Has a medical treatment affected the ability of people to recover from illness? So you have a car wreck. Why? Car wrecks are up. Why are car wrecks up? Is it because the person had a heart attack? Is it because they had a stroke? Is it because they had some other kind of problem? Maybe their brain is not is just confused for whatever, from some type of hyperpituitary problem, whatever it may be. Okay, I have a close family member who, it's just a miracle they did not die in car wrecks because they had seizures and would run off the road. Multiple times this happened. I mean, we didn't understand it. At first, it was like, what's going on? We don't. How did that happen? I don't know. But when you look at it in retrospect, there was multiple times when this problem occurred, and in fact, I experienced one of them. I said, "You're done. You're not driving anymore. You can't drive." So, this is before 2020. Okay, my personal experience wasn't due to the study, kind of the stuff that the study is maybe related to. But my point is that you can have a wreck for all kind of reasons, that it isn't because you were speeding necessarily. It wasn't necessarily because you were an alcoholic, although that could be a reason. Okay, maybe people are drinking more now. That may be true. Alcoholic deaths are up. Stroke deaths are up. Murders are up. Digestive related deaths are up. Strokes are up. Okay, all these things are up. People's bodies are not getting repaired the way they were created to be repaired. Okay, and there's all kind of reasons for this. Many reasons that it was already going on its way up. Okay, there's all kind. We're learning. We look at what's going on. You have Bobby Kennedy is going to be the health guy, right? Because why? Because he although they tried to brand him as somebody who is anti vaccine, that's not true. It's never been true. He's said it multiple times that he's not against vaccines. What he's against is medical treatments that are not vaccines, but they, in the last 5 years, redefined what a vaccine is so they could call it a vaccine. This is fact. What you and I'm in my late 60s, my entire life, I've taken vaccines. I had vaccines when I was a kid. And what about just a few years ago, my doctors were saying, hey, you want to take the flu vaccine, Mark? You want to take the, what is it? Where you get your breakout. Starts with an S. Shingles vaccine? And I'm going, well, that's probably a good idea. I've had close people in my family who had shingles. It's a terrible thing. If you get a bad bout of shingles, it's bad. It is really bad. So I've seen that in terrible situation. So it's something I certainly would consider. But I went into, and I kept meaning to get a flu. I'm over 60, so you need to get a flu shot every year. Well, that didn't make sense to me totally, but okay, my doctor, who I trust, wow, I used to trust my doctors. Anyway, my doctor, who I'm trusting, I don't think he's lying to me. You need to get a flu shot. It's good for you to get, and so I didn't get a flu shot. Like let's say 2018, I was planning on getting a flu shot. I just couldn't find a moment when I was willing to sit down in the drugstore at the CVS and let them give me a flu shot. I just, I was always moving, going, had things to do, just didn't find the time. But I did, I had to make an appointment, I think, or something like that anyway. Um, and I remember talking to the people there about it. Yeah, this is a great flu shot. Yeah, it's good. And then 2019 comes in, and I go in and I say, well, I'm thinking about getting a flu shot this year. What do you think? Oh, this flu shot's really good. Last year, yeah, last year's one didn't do that good, but this year's is really good. Okay. Now, the truth of the matter is, as we all know, if you know anything, and all of us can know this is not a secret. The truth of the matter is all our vaccines are made from yesterday's flu or yesterday's epidemic, whatever it is. All vaccines are from yesterday, and they take them and they put them together. They work them up, and and they inject it into you, and then your body, in a true vaccine, your body has the element of whatever that flu or virus is. It enters your body. Your body reacts to it doing what God made it to do. It creates antibodies. And then your body has all these antibodies, and that helps to protect you. Doesn't mean that the new flu, that it's going to kill the new flu. No, it doesn't do that. I mean, not 100%. But your body, because this is a newer generation of flu than the one you had 10 years ago. This is why I'm pretty sure that most of us, if we have the flu, we have the flu about every 5 or 10 years or something. Why? Because when you have the flu, your body creates the antibodies, and then they're in you for a while, and they do a pretty good job for the next 5 or 10 years fighting off whatever flus come by. And then finally, they're sort of that song's too old, and you need a new song to fight the new flu. Okay, so uh, so every 5 or 10 years in my life, I'd have a bout of the flu. Here's my point. She tells me that, this year is better than last year's. Well, how can that be? You know, if it's just better than last year's, then and the truth of the matter is, my body is what's really doing it. That flu shot is nothing but the flu. That virus is nothing but the flu, right? It's my body that's doing all the work. Whether I get the full on flu or get the injection of the last year's flu in my body, a little bit of it, so and create some antibodies. My body's making the antibodies, right? That's the way a virus works. Anyway, I just thought, look, if they're going to tell me that last year's flu vaccine really didn't work very well, then why should I trust that this vaccine is going to work this all that well either? See, so I said, forget that. Now I am anti-vaccine to a degree, but you know, like Bobby Kennedy, you know, there's certain basic things that seem to have been pretty much fought very well by vaccines, you know, childhood vaccines, the few that we had. But now they got 100 zillion vaccines for children. It's just ridiculous. They're pumping them up. And if you start looking into the vaccine problems, it's not good. If I had children today, I wouldn't be having them take all these vaccines. But anyway, back to the main point. The main point John Campbell is saying, what they're not doing is they are not looking at whether there's any medical interventions, medical procedures that might have some impact on the number of people who are dying. We've got more people dying today, young adults, more people dying than we did up until 2019. 3 times more people dying. Why is that? What could have happened in the world that's different? I will tell you that the medical treatment, the procedure that most people took, affects you. I mentioned this the other day. It affects your DNA. It is not a vaccine as we historically have known a vaccine to be. And it affects the way your body heals. It affects the way your body attacks. It doesn't help your body attack the flu or anything. It does something else, and I can't remember exactly. As you can get online and start looking it up, and there's plenty of people. There's some great Karen Kingston. If you type in Karen Kingston and let her tell you, man, she's brilliant. She's a very smart woman. She knows all about this stuff. That's just one. And if you start listening to her conversations, she'll refer to other people who are also expert on it, and they can teach you a lot. And there are procedures that you might engage that may help you to overcome the damage that could have been done to your body, and it probably is. You know, it's like I can't remember who I was listening to the other day, but they were just talking about how, if, for example, your body, this is just theoretical. I'm just using this to help you understand. Let's say your body has a potassium level of 0.345, okay? And you're doing great. You feel healthy as a pig, a bull, you know, and you're out running 5 miles every day, and you look terrific. And then it increases to 0.3. I just said 3.5, and let me say now it increases to 0.349. And just that change, you could die. You could be dead or in the hospital. Okay? So there's all kind of things that we're taking in from all of these metals. I was listening to an interview, a conversation today, and they were just talking about the amount of millions and millions of gallons of jet fuels used daily, and which has heavy metals in it and everything. But this is stuff. We're breathing this stuff in all the time, and it's burdening our bodies. So there's all kind of things and so some people who are more burdened than others, they're at more risk. If you're overweight, you're at more risk. If you're eating a lot of sugar and stuff. You know, you're probably going to have more inflammation in your body. You're at a greater risk. All these things create greater risk than the way you would have eaten 100 years ago, and it may be experienced unless you were a coal miner or something, right? I mean, that's terrible being a coal miner, but if you were an average person that lived on a farm 100 years ago, then you were probably in a pretty healthy circumstance. You just don't want to go over to World War One and get hit with mustard gas, which would have been a terrible thing. And then been end of you. So look at the video below. Listen to John Campbell. Listen to his nuanced comments, and think about what you need to do to help yourself and your loved ones in light of this new study out of a journal that there are many more damning studies that exist than this. Okay, but this gives you a little bit of a insight. If they're willing to say, hey, you know, we were dying at this rate 5 years ago, and now we're dying at this rate, y'all. And that's the JAMA journal. Then that's pretty concerning to me. Anyway, God made us for our bodies to heal, and obviously sometimes we get exposed to environmental factors that we don't even know about that may affect our health for the rest of our lives, or certainly for a good while if we don't get away from that environment. There's things that our diet itself, everybody knows our diet is bad. Everybody knows. I mean, your head's stuck in a hole if you don't know that the food that is grown too quickly. The nutrients in our food, if you want to have good nutrients, have an organic garden at your house, right? Have your own pigs and chickens and goats and cows in your own pasture, and make sure that the soil is good soil and not contaminated by agricultural practices of the past. The world was created a wonderful place, and our bodies were created to use the nutrients and things that are here for in the natural world. And we're eating all this packaged, processed stuff, and it's really bad for us. And we're doing all kind of other things that aren't the best thing for us. So I pray for guidance every day. I pray for guidance. I pray for truth. If you go to God and tell God you want to do and follow the absolute truth, and no matter what it is, then He'll lead you there. I'm very confident of that. If you just want to believe what you want to believe, and you want to tell God what's true, then He'll let you do whatever you want to. That's called free will. But every night, God, guide me and show me the truth. That's what I'm praying for. So, subscribe, like, and watch the video below that I have for you below. Now, somewhere here, I think it's over here, I'm going to have another one of my past videos. You can go take a look at that as well. Until the next time, God bless.